In this video manual, we're going to take a look at a program called Disk Transfer. Disk Transfer is an amazing little package that brings some new capabilities to your Casablancas that we've never had before. In order to use Disk Transfer, you do need to be using a Casablanca system that is running the 3.5 version and above for your operating system, and we're using 40C here. And you do also have to have an internal DVD burner installed inside your Casablanca system. And that DVD software needs to be running at least a 2.2. When you're in the Install Product menu here, you could use your All Software CD or your All Software Smart Card, insert it into the machine, and read through the list of programs, and simply activate Disk Transfer. And you can activate the program using the license code that you might have gotten from your local dealer. So with the program active, we're going to hit OK to close here. And if there's a CD or DVD, it'll tell you to remove that if there's one in there. And we'll come out here to the Edit menu. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose a scene in the scene bin. And the Disk Transfer is basically looking for clips in your scene bin to save onto a recordable DVD. The Disk Transfer is going to save these scenes as uncompressed DV AVI files. Basically, when we're saying uncompressed, we're saving these scenes in a digital format, so we're not compressing them, so that you can use these images to reload into other scene bins on other Casablancas, or use to import onto a PC. So let's take a look and see how this works. When you've gotten a scene in the scene bin, for instance, we have this little animation of a sky going on here. And I'm going to save this onto a DVD disc. And I'd recommend getting something like a DVD recordable disc, a rewritable DVD-RW here. This is going to allow you to erase and rewrite on these discs over and over again. So if you're not using Disk Transfer as a storage medium, you can use it as a transfer medium to transfer between different hard drives. So if you have one Casablanca and multiple drives, this is an excellent way to save scenes in the scene bin without losing any quality onto a disc and transfer them over to another Casablanca's hard drive. So let's take a look. First thing we need to do is take this scene and save it to the disk. So we'll go to the Finish menu, and with your DVD Arabesque active and the Disk Transfer active, we'll have a button down at the bottom called Disk Transfer, and here's an export option. It's important to note that when you go into the export command here, you do need to have your current Arabesque program empty. So if you have any projects in there you're actually burning to a normal DVD, and the normal DVD would be something playing back in a normal DVD player, then you would want to make sure that that project was done and complete and removed. Otherwise, it's going to give you this message to tell you do need to get rid of it if you have anything in there. And I do, so I'm going to hit yes because we're going to start fresh here. And up comes the Disk Transfer menu. This is kind of similar to the Add Film in the Arabesque menu. We're taking those scenes from the scene bin, and instead of loading them into an area to burn for a regular DVD, we're going to load them into this Disk Transfer program. So we're going to select our project, and currently I'm using the project called Classroom. And I'm going to select the scene in there, and here's our scene bin. So we see our list of different scenes in here, and I'll come down to our little cloud animation here, and we can play it to check it if we wanted to. And we can hit OK here to say, yes, that's the scene. Video number 25 is the scene I'm going to load. Here it tells you your scene length, and it tells you how much percentage of your DVD disc it's going to take up. Remember that an uncompressed scene into your DVD is going to take up quite a bit of space. It's not compressing it to squeeze it onto that disc. So a standard 4.7 gig DVD disc is only going to save about 20 minutes of video. If you're using a dual layer disc, you'd probably get yourself closer to the 40 minutes. So remember that that's important when you're saving your scenes either for storage or for transfer onto this DVD or recordable disc. So we see we have free capacity 99%, and I'll simply say add this scene. The export command will go across and is now compiled and move that scene from the scene bin right here into Disk Transfer. So if you had a storyboard that you completed and you wanted to transfer the storyboard, you would need to use the Scene button. The Scene button is a very powerful button highlighted in many of our Macro System productions, whether it's the training video or the Tips and Tricks DVD, showing you how to make a scene of the whole storyboard using the Scene button, creating a layer of it into the scene bin, and then using this Disk Transfer to take that scene and move it in here for your transfers. So when you hit OK here, what's going to happen is that scene is now going to be saved into the disk transfer portion of the Arabesque program. We will be ready now to actually burn our DVD. However, I'd want to point out one important thing in the disk transfer is over here under your settings button, there's an option under here called disk transfer format. When you're using type 1, this is the kind that you would want to use when you're going to use this to store for Casablanca scenes or transfer from one Casablanca to another. It's basically combining the video and audio elements together. If you're going to choose type 2, this is basically telling the system that the DVD you're going to burn is going to contain video and audio separately. And this is going to be what you'd be looking for if you wanted to take this DV-AVI file and take it over to a PC. PC is going to be looking for more commonly the type 2 format. But this is going to be one that I would want to use on my Casablanca, maybe to reload at another time or basically store and save this scene if I wanted to. I could then hit OK once I've chosen the type, and then you could simply click on your Write DVD button to start writing the process of creating your DVD. We're going to speed up this write process just for the purpose of this demo. So once it's done writing, it's saved your scene to the disk. I'm going to skip this verify for now, and we're going to come back out and go back to the scene bin. And here's the other area in which you can use the disk transfer. Of course, whatever scene you have selected currently in the scene bin, the new clip will appear to the right. So we're going to go under New. And New is where disk transfer is located for importing. So I'm going to left click on disk transfer and hit OK to activate it. What it's going to do is bring you up a small little menu here. One, to give you the display of contents, so you need to eject and put in your DVD if you haven't already done so. I'm going to click on the display contents, and it'll look at the list of scenes on that disc, whether there's just one in this case or if there's a dozen, even if they're all short scenes. It'll list them all. And the one you have highlighted, if you hit OK, it will build that one clip to your scene bin. If you did have a big list of a bunch of scenes you saved to that disk, you can click All as a batch load, and it will load all those scenes down in the scene bin. The longer the scenes are here, the longer it would take to load them into the scene bin here, but this 5-second one should be pretty quick for us. So we'll do an import here. And there it is. Here's our original. And here's our new scene. An uncompressed, no loss of quality clip transferred in using a DVD. I would encourage you to remember that this program is basically a storage or a transfer device. So for instance, if you have a whole shelf of tapes, because you've been doing a lot of tape production over time and age due to the magnetic tape here, we could end up wearing down the heads or starting to get hits on the tape, degrading your overall production quality. So using disk transfer, you can load these scenes into the scene bin like this, all these different clips, save them onto this disk transfer DVD, and then use those as storage to reload onto another project at another time, or maybe if you have to reinstall your software, which would clear everything out in video and audio, and you could save your video and audio files to that DVD and reload after the installation. So it's a nice storage medium. Or I could just simply take these series of clips, save them onto the DVD, using that DVD export for disk transfer. So I could go on out and head over to another Casablanca in a completely different location, take that disk transfer, put it in there, load it up, and load those scenes right into that Casablanca. A couple of other important points about the disk transfer program is remember that we are using DV-AVI format as the way we're saving these scenes to your disks. So if you wanted to save it over onto a PC, remember you need to change that settings section there for the type 1 or type 2, depending on how you're going to transfer or store your information. Same thing applies if you're taking a scene from your PC to load into this scene bin, then it's only going to use the disk transfer and see DV-AVI files to load into this clip bin. And we are using uncompressed on those formats. The other thing to point out about disk transfer is that the scenes that you save using it, using that burn onto your disk, these types of scenes are not going to play back in a standard DVD player. This is not something that will just play back. It's using it again as storage or for transfer between Casablanca devices or using them to transfer from Casablanca to a PC. So this is an awesome program that brings a whole bunch of new power to your system, allowing you to save these scenes, use them again and again without losing any quality, protect them, and use them for a lifetime.